They thought it was just an ordinary cave hidden deep in the mountains of Thailand. But when scientists stepped inside, they uncovered secrets buried for nearly 10,000 years. Ancient tools, mysterious plant remains, and clues that could rewrite the story of how humans first lived, and maybe even how farming began. Was Spirit Cave home to one of the world's earliest civilizations, or is there an even bigger mystery still hidden beneath its floor? Stay with me, because this ancient cave holds answers that history is still trying to understand. Spirit Cave. What if I told you that one of the world's greatest mysteries was hidden inside a quiet cave for thousands of years? A place that looked small and ordinary from the outside, but inside, it held secrets that completely changed what we thought we knew about the first humans. Deep in the hills, surrounded by thick forests and silence, there is a cave where ancient people lived, cooked, hunted, and left behind clues that stayed untouched for nearly 10,000 years. Those clues would later shock archaeologists and start debates that still continue today. This is the incredible mystery of Spirit Cave. Spirit Cave is located in the mountains of northwestern Thailand, close to the border with Myanmar. At first glance, it does not look like a place that would change history. It is simply a limestone cave sitting high above the valley, surrounded by green forests and rocky hills. Birds fly around the entrance, trees cover much of the area, and the sound of nature fills the air. It feels peaceful today. But thousands of years ago, this cave was home to people whose lives were very different from ours. Imagine walking into the cave thousands of years ago. There were no electric lights, no roads, and no modern buildings. The only light came from fires burning inside the cave, or from sunlight entering through the opening. Families gathered around those fires, cooked food, made tools, and shared stories after long days of hunting and collecting plants from the forests nearby. Every object they left behind slowly became buried under layers of soil. Year after year, century after century, those layers protected their secrets. For a very long time, nobody realized how important this cave really was. Local people knew about it, but the world had no idea what was hidden beneath the ground. That changed during the 1960s, when archaeologists began exploring the cave carefully. As they removed layer after layer of dirt, they started finding objects that had been untouched for thousands of years. Stone tools appeared first. Then, pieces of baskets, animal bones, seeds, shells, and other items slowly came into view. Every new discovery raised even more questions. One of the biggest mysteries was the age of these objects. Scientists carefully studied the remains and discovered that many of them were incredibly old. Some were nearly 10,000 years old, while others were even older. Suddenly, Spirit Cave became one of the most important archaeological sites in Southeast Asia. It was no longer just another cave. It had become a time capsule that offered a direct look into the lives of ancient humans. Among the most surprising discoveries were the remains of plants. Archaeologists found seeds, nuts, beans, fruits, and other plant materials that had survived because the cave protected them from heavy rain and strong sunlight. These tiny remains may not sound exciting at first, but they completely changed how researchers thought about early human life. Before these discoveries, many experts believed that ancient people in this part of the world mostly survived by hunting animals. Spirit Cave told a much more interesting story. The people living here collected a wide variety of plants from the forests. They understood which plants could be eaten, which ones could be stored, and which ones were useful for everyday life. Their knowledge of nature was much greater than many people had imagined. This discovery started an argument among scientists that continues even today. Some researchers believed that the people of Spirit Cave may have taken the first small steps toward farming. They noticed that certain plants appeared regularly inside the cave. Could these ancient people have been protecting useful plants or encouraging them to grow near their homes? It was an exciting idea because it suggested that farming might have started in different parts of the world instead of only one place. Other scientists disagreed. They argued that there was not enough evidence to say these people were actually farming. Instead, they believed the cave's residents were expert gatherers who simply knew where to find the best wild plants. According to this view, they understood nature extremely well, but had not yet begun growing crops themselves. This debate remains one of the greatest mysteries connected to Spirit Cave. Even with modern science, researchers cannot fully agree. The evidence allows different explanations, making the cave even more fascinating. Sometimes history does not give us clear answers. Instead, it leaves us with clues that encourage people to keep searching. The stone tools found inside the cave also tell an interesting story. Unlike the polished tools that appeared much later in history, many of these tools were simple but effective. They were made to cut plants, prepare food, process animal hides, and perform daily tasks. These tools show that the people who lived here were skilled at using the materials available around them. They did not need advanced technology to survive because they understood their environment better than anyone else. Animal bones found inside the cave reveal another part of their daily lives. They hunted different animals living in the nearby forests, while also collecting fish, shellfish, fruits, and nuts. Their diet was surprisingly varied. Instead of depending on one source of food, they adapted to changing seasons and used whatever nature provided. This flexibility may have helped them survive for generations. One remarkable discovery was the evidence of woven baskets. Although most natural materials usually rot away over time, small traces survived inside the cave. These remains suggest that the people living there knew how to weave plant fibers into useful containers. Such baskets would have helped them carry food, collect fruits, store seeds, and transport daily supplies. Even simple objects like these reveal a high level of practical skill. Spirit Cave also teaches us something important about human intelligence. These people lived thousands of years before modern cities, yet they carefully planned their daily lives. They selected safe shelter, understood local weather, knew animal behavior, recognized edible plants, and created tools suited to their needs. Their knowledge came from observation and experience passed from one generation to the next. The cave itself offered many advantages. Its elevated position protected people from floods while giving them a clear view of the surrounding valley. Fresh water sources were nearby, forests provided food and materials, and the cave remained cooler during hot weather while offering protection from heavy rain. These natural benefits made it an excellent place to live for long periods. Even today, many mysteries remain buried beneath the ground. Archaeologists believe there could still be undiscovered layers containing valuable information. Every new excavation brings fresh questions instead of final answers. New scientific methods, including improved dating techniques and microscopic analysis, continue helping researchers understand the cave in greater detail. Today, Spirit Cave remains an important archaeological site, rather than a major tourist attraction. This has both advantages and disadvantages. On the positive side, limited tourism helps protect the fragile remains from damage. The surrounding forests remain peaceful, and the cave has avoided the heavy crowds that often threatened historical sites. Researchers can continue studying the area while preserving its natural environment. However, there are also negative aspects. Because the cave is located in a remote area, it receives less public attention than many famous historical sites. Limited funding and difficult access can slow archaeological work. Weather, natural erosion, and the passage of time also continue affecting the cave. Protecting such an ancient site is an ongoing challenge that requires careful planning and continued support. For me, Spirit Cave is fascinating because it reminds us that history is rarely simple. The people who lived here were not primitive in the way many imagine. They were intelligent, observant, and deeply connected to nature. They solved problems without modern technology and created a successful way of life that lasted for generations. The mystery surrounding whether they were among the world's earliest plant managers or simply brilliant gatherers makes the site even more interesting. Sometimes the greatest discoveries are not about finding final answers, but about asking better questions. Today, Spirit Cave stands quietly in the mountains of northwestern Thailand, surrounded by forests much like those that sheltered its ancient residents thousands of years ago. It remains protected as an important archaeological site and continues to attract researchers from around the world. While it is not crowded with visitors, its historical value is enormous. The cave still holds many unanswered questions, and with every future study, it may reveal another piece of the incredible story of humanity's distant past.